everyone. Welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to look at one of Hampton's unique neighborhoods. I think we all live in a unique neighborhood, but in a way that neighbors have been pulling together to create some beautification and some neighborhood fun and unity. My guest is Jamie Chapman. Welcome.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm delighted to be able to brag about my folks in Grandview.
You have lived in Grandview for how long, Jamie?
Well, since '99.
So you're a come here.
Right, for sure. I wasn't born here. I'm a come here.
Who've inherited those houses from, parents and grandparents. Right. It's a cool mix of folks, I think. What you tell me, you live there. I only go visit the beach.
Well, it is fun, and it is a sense of community. And I was trying to imagine, what it is that makes a community really start coming together. And one of the things, at least in the most recent times, it was Isabel. Because when there was so much storm damage, folks really had to pitch in and help each other. And I think we've tried to just keep that community spirit alive with lots of different things that we do. That
is interesting, where it kind of starts with adversity.
Mm-hmm, it did.
And it forces you to interact because your windows are open, you're outdoors, you're all in your house, pulling stuff out, living in a tent practically. And then, how do you, sometimes that dissipates as things get back to normal and people return to their cocoons. How do you keep it alive and keep that sense of community going?
Well, one of the things we started having like caroling. And then we had, for a number of years, we had a big Thanksgiving dinner where everybody comes with potluck.
And one person just volunteers to host it, or you do it in
they have their house, and then everybody brings, different people bring food and work together. But that's a really big deal. And it's really nice. And most recently, and I think that's what you heard about, was that one of our neighbors decided that she maybe thought she could do a mural. And she'd already started cleaning up the little park at the end of Beach Road as it goes out to the bay. And the city had put some planters in there a few years ago. But then she just started making it a whole lot better, and she said about an idea of maybe making a mural along this wall that ran on the south side.
It's like a seawall or a fence?
Yeah, well,
it's
a fence that goes all the way down to the water to separate the house from this little park.
Okay.
And so she said, well, I'd like to make a mural. And I said, well, okay, that's good. But we got to get everybody involved, because it'll be better that way. So the mural is just absolutely beautiful. And now that neighbor that has the fence, I think I'm calling him the Tom Sawyer of Grandview, because he condescended to paint his fence, and it really looks beautiful. But he mows the lawn, and everybody just kind of kicked in. And when there was volunteers that helped to paint it, we had to fix the fence and make it a little bit more, sturdy. And now we decided we dedicated it on the second Sunday of August, and that was the day where the wayside marker that talked about the Back River Lighthouse was dedicated. And so we really were able to kick off, and now we're going to call the second Sunday in August Grandview Day, and have lots of activity on the island for the kids and for the other people, and a little bit about the history, and to thank folks for all the things they're doing and how much we celebrate and appreciate life there.
Okay, so you're talking about neighbors just kind of getting involved in doing this. Who paid for the paint? Who paid for the materials to spruce up the fence? Who?
Well, we collected. We just asked, who wants to make contributions. And a lot of our activities done through an umbrella group called Grandview Island Beach Partners, and it's a nonprofit. And that got into it. It was actually we were asking the city they had a lot that they weren't using, and they didn't want anybody on it really. And so we said, well, why don't you give it to us, because we want to play on it. We want to use it for education, and we want to protect it. And so we were able to make that transfer. And one of the things that we did is we raised money, and we planted 6,000 sea oats all down that little strip of beach. And it's beautiful now. Right at this time of year, they're in full bloom. And it is gorgeous. And it does help to protect the dunes.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's long-term stabilization
there is. It does help. It does help.
I would say soil, but it's more like sand.
It's shifting sand.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of erosion there.
So it was Grandview Island Beach Partners. And so that was the group to put out the word, please contribute towards the mural. And we raised, I think, about, it's about maybe $1,600, which paid for that. And we'll use the rest for our environmental work and good things around the island.
This is a wonderful example. I'm thinking from the city side and how strapped the budget is, and we're trying to help neighborhoods, but part of what the city wants to do is spark and then get out of the way and let
sure,
the neighbors
yeah.
do it. And you guys have done that completely.
Well, yeah,
by
because now it's getting
yourselves.
mowed, it's getting landscaped, and the mural is beautiful. We've got a little museum. It's called an off-the-wall gallery, so we can do history of the lighthouse itself. And later on, we're going to do about the Grandview Hotel and some of the other history about Grandview and the watermen and the fishermen that had their pound nets out for literally, 50, 100 years. And all of that activity and the commerce that went on in Grandview. So it'll be a lot of fun because we'll be able to keep different things of interest around there.
What attracted you to Grandview? How did you end up here?
I sailed by here one day in the late 70s, and I saw this neat cottage row in the pound nets, and I said, that's a really nice place. And so then after I had a chance and I transferred over here, I started looking for a place to live.
You were working in Virginia Beach at the time.
And I transferred over and worked out of the peninsula and worked with the great, I call it a kinder, gentler world, and it really is. It's a marvelous place to live and work. And I retired about 10 years ago, but I wanted a place to stay, and so I immediately thought of that place I sailed by that long time ago.
Wow.
And just kind of wandered over here. And sure enough, they just had the double northeasters, and that was another time when we used the flooding. And so a little cottage was on the water, and the guy that owned it had just kind of said, "I'd throw in the towel. I'm giving up."
He'd had enough.
And so he sold it, and I had to redo it, and I've had to redo it several times since then. But it's just a wonderful little neighborhood. It's very eclectic.
Well, okay, so when you say eclectic, what does that mean? You have people who are still fishermen? I mean, are there still people who work the water in there?
And then we also have people that are living there year-round. Some people still live almost like in the original cottages like I do. Other people have been built big, beautiful homes
fancy,
right next door. So it's real
gorgeous.
mixed, and it's the experience base of all the different people. But the important thing is that we really are able to live and work and play together quite well. The city helped us when they made it a golf cart community. That was a great thing that the city was able to do.
I remember that ordinance,
And so that brought another more, because now you're not inside the house behind the air conditioner, but you're out doing more things. And I think that really helps to build neighborhoods when people get just to interact, whether it's a little golf cart ride or those types of things.
So you guys go out in your golf carts when you're doing your Christmas caroling?
Yes, this year we added the golf cart parade. We had the Grinch that Stole Christmas, all kinds of different activities. So we paraded around the island, and then we'd stop at houses and we'd sing our carols and move on to the next house. But we really had a great time, and it was fun.
That sounds wonderful. Fun. Okay, tell us the history. You're talking about environmental education and education about the history. The old Lighthouse restaurant. Pick a story or a time in Grandview's history, and just give us a taste of that community and how it developed.
Well, let's talk about the lighthouse, because the Back River Lighthouse was a major. They used to call it the Grandview Lighthouse as well, by the way.
That's what I heard it called.
And people in the community used to go down there. And when we first started going down there, and this is from Paul Klein, he's 95, 97 years old. He said when you first went down Beach Road, you couldn't go right to Grandview because the dunes were so high. So you had to take a road up around to the north and swing around by the lighthouse, and then you could come back down and go down Grandview Beach towards Buckrow Beach, and they did that. Well, on that whole strip of beach, the fishermen out of Fox Hill, the Fox Hill fishermen, that's where they had their pound nets. And they had their little shanties, and they literally worked there during the summer to bring in the fish. And it was quite an enterprise.
So it was really just a fishing community in season.
And there were some very, very prominent names. Probably the most prominent name were the Johnsons and also the Wallaces. But the Johnsons were a large family with lots of relatives, and a lot of them were the fishermen. And they're the ones that when the beach was divided up, it was basically owned by a lot of the Johnson families.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great community. And for you to have fallen in love with it so much that you're one of the advocates. But I think it's also great when neighbors do get outside, do talk to each other, and pitch in for projects like this. And the rest of us should come visit it, because I've seen pictures of that mural. It is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
What an artist you have in your community.
Well, Linda Williams was our main artist. And I was hoping she would come with me today, but she's too modest, because I had a little plaque I wanted to give her that showed her original sketch that she was going to be the artist. And then 5 or 6 other people helped her with that, and other people helped us prepare the wall.
And fun and whimsical too, the extra fish along the rocks and the seawall. It's beautiful and
the word's
fun.
out, a mermaid is going to appear, so I'm really excited about that.
So this is still evolving.
It will be still evolving, right.
Well, that's wonderful. And thank you for what you are doing in the community, what your neighbors are doing in their community. community, and for coming in today and sharing your story.
Well, I'm delighted to be able to be here.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a little bit more about Grandview and maybe take some of the ideas that this neighborhood is doing and see how that kind of friendliness and getting outside and working together can enliven your neighborhood. Thanks for watching.